and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-24 season. My name is Dan, and it's good to be back. It's really good to be back, actually. Yeah, I've missed FPL. I do it every international break. It's just like, just get drained by international breaks. Luckily, this international break, I have been pretty busy. So it's been a busy time. We've taken some time off. I had my 2-year wedding anniversary last week, which was nice to spend a little bit of time with Mrs. FPL Mate. But guys, I have to say, I've missed you guys and I've missed making content. But we're back on the grind now. Already, I think 4 Gameweek 13 videos up already on the channel before this stream. This is going to be the 5th piece of Gameweek 13 content of the week. But it's good. Now, before we go any further, I have to say, some of you guys might know this already, but I need to say thank you. I need to say thank you to everyone, because we did win a bronze award at the the Football Content Award. So yeah, thank you everyone who voted for me in the Football Content Awards. Had a great time at the venue at Anfield. Met some great people. Had a really good night in the end. I love the city of Liverpool. But yeah, third best fantasy football content creator. You'll never sing that, guys. It's official. Also, congratulations to Holly Shand, who won the Gold Award, and to the FPL Fan Show, who won the 2nd place award. They do some really good stuff over on TikTok in particular. So if you guys are following your fantasy content over on TikTok, do go check those guys out. But in terms of YouTube, the Bronze Award, he goes to FPL Mate. So yeah, really nice. Just a bit of to have that recognition of all the hard work that has gone into the FPL content on this channel recently. So thank you everyone who voted for me, who got involved in that. You guys are absolute legends. You really are legends. So anyway, guys, quick announcement. We'll just do a very quick announcement before we get on to the main bulk of the content, because I appreciate we've got loads to speak about today. But there is something I would like to share with you guys properly for the first time on YouTube, and that is going to be, and I don't know how well you guys can see this because I haven't particularly got my webpage set up for it particularly well, but this is a new website. Yes, a new website. Let's shrink this down, see if that's a little bit better for you. A new website. Actually, it's worse. We've got Fanprints. So Fanprints website is now officially up. Please go and check this out if you would like to. It is obviously, actually, I know how we can do this a little bit better. Let's go and do let's do this. There you go. You guys can see that a little bit better now. So here we are, guys. This is Fanprints, my new website, and I've worked on this really hard over the last month with Overtino, who you could probably see in the chat right now. Yeah, Richard and myself have been, long late nights to try and, get a good website out for you guys where you can buy some good fantasy football merch. There is not enough of it out there right now. So we were like, let's do this. Like, no one else is doing this. Let's do this. Let's create some great fantasy football merch for you guys. Now, I'll give you a quick look at this now. Then we'll talk about FPL, don't worry. And then we'll come back to this later and I'll show you a little bit more of what we've been up to. But basically, guys, we've got loads of great fantasy football related posters and products, mugs, notepads, that kind of stuff that I think you're genuinely going to love. So the website is fanprints.uk. There's a link in the description. There's also a link, there's product links on every YouTube video if you look underneath the YouTube video. So yeah, please go check out. Please show some support. We are running a competition as well where you can win free prints. Yes, you can win a free print for yourself. Over on Instagram and on Twitter. You can check out my Instagram and Twitter pages if you want to find out more about that one. But again, we'll talk more about that at the end of the stream because I do want to focus primarily today on a bit of FPL. So let's get back to business. Let's get back to beeswax. So this is my team right now. This is where I am at. So it's an interesting position that a lot of us find ourselves in. The international break has certainly sprung up some triangles, some triangles of the yellow, orange, and red variety. I don't know what to call them. Maybe Doritos of Death would be a good name for them. Yeah, there's Doritos everywhere, guys, isn't there? So yeah, it's it's definitely made a lot of you guys worried. I've seen a lot of you guys in the comment section, worried about various things. Some of it we have covered in videos over the last couple of days. Other stuff we haven't so much. And maybe we can go into a little bit more detail about certain players. Some players I've kind of brushed over a little bit, but maybe we can go into a little bit more detail here as well. I think there's 3 main players that seem to be the major talking points in terms of potentially injured players, and each of them I think have slightly different fates. So let me go through each of those main 3, and then we can talk about any others that you would like to in the stream as well. So first of all, Jarrod Bowen. Jarrod Bowen. Now, there has been some false reports. There has been some false reports circulating on Twitter today. I've seen them. Don't believe everything you see on Twitter. But what I would say you should believe when you see it is this. Now, what we've got here is club insiders are suggesting that Bowen's injury is not as bad as first feared, and there is a chance he might not even be sidelined for any of West Ham's upcoming games. So straight back into the team. So I think this is the most positive so far on news that we've got. The initial news with Bowen was that he had to pull out of the England squad because he felt a little twinge in his leg during training. It wasn't, an injury that he kind of necessarily sustained. He didn't get injured, if you like, but he felt something in training. A couple of days later, he felt the same thing again in training, and just as a precaution, what they did is they withdrew Bowen from the international squad. They withdrew him just as a precaution. Now, he's due to have a scan, I believe, over the next day or so. So we're going to get a full, understanding of what his injury actually is. But he has returned to West Ham, and it seems that it is fairly positive news so far that the injury is perhaps not as bad as initially feared. Obviously, West Ham will be very, very keen to protect Bowen, as they do see him as the central striker for them going forward, because we do know that Antonio's injury, not so good. He's got quite a serious hamstring injury that could leave him out for several weeks, if not months. So Bowen is going to be really, really important for West Ham. We've got Burnley up next. It's a really, really nice fixture for the West Ham man, but I know a lot of people are already trying to think about how they can remove Bowen, what to do with him, whether they should go for someone else. If they're trying to buy a new midfielder, maybe they should avoid Bowen. What I would say to you guys right now, and I cannot stress this enough this week, more than ever, is please don't make panic transfers. Please don't make panic transfers. Keep it cool, keep it calm, and see what happens, because there is a very, very high chance here that there's no problem whatsoever with Bowen. Bowen's going to be available for the Burnley match, and not only is he going to be a great pick for that Burnley match, but he's also a potential captaincy option as well. So if you end up selling him now, or going for someone else instead and not waiting for the information, and you do these early transfers, what you might have is a situation where he does play against Burnley, bangs a hat-trick in that game, completely plausible, and you're going to really, really regret that decision. So please, guys, be patient on Bowen. I know he has got that very, very scary Dorito of death next to his name in FPL. But, and I cannot stress this enough, I've said this before and I'll say it once again, please do not get your injury information from the FPL website. It is not reliable. Look into it. Go in detail. Look up reports. Go to newspaper reports. Find reliable sources on social media, insiders in the club, and try and get the best information you can possible, rather than just looking at a triangle to decide, whether a player is going to play or not. A triangle can only tell you so much. It can tell you, what flavor, spice a Dorito has. That's about it. So guys, I will try and keep you up to date as much as I can. Of course, on Friday we will do the press conference roundup and give you all of the final injury news ahead of deadline. So we'll do that on Friday. We've got a few days until then. Right now, would not be panicking on Bowen whatsoever. Would not be panicking. Really, really would not be panicking. So moving on to the next player I want to talk about today, and that's going to be Mitoma. Now, Mitoma, apparently, he has been added to Brighton's injury list. It's not looking so good according to Andy Naylor. Andy Naylor is the account here, very reliable insider for Brighton. He seems to be in the know. Now, we don't know exactly what the situation is with Mitoma. The last thing I heard was that he had kind of pulled out of the Japan squad because he wasn't at 100%. We already knew that there might be an issue, you know, prior to the international break, but yeah, apparently he was not 100%, and there was some worry there. There was some concern there, certainly from Mitoma. But the way he spoke, it was like, you know, I want to be able to help my team, but I'm not quite at, you know, at 100% fitness, so I don't think I'm going to be able to be helpful to the Japan team. That's kind of what he alluded to. So from that, it didn't seem too bad. But we've now got this report that he has been officially added to the injury list, and therefore I am beginning to doubt whether he's going to be available for Game Week 13. So with Bowen, I think there is some optimism to be had there, but with Mitoma, I'll be feeling a little bit more negative around that one. I'll be feeling a little bit more cautious. Again, I would still try and wait a couple more days to try and get more information. More information you can get, the better. As long as there's no price changes, which we will cover later on in the stream. As long as there's no price changes, would not be rushing any decision, but I am not as optimistic about Mitoma right now. And that is a correction, guys, from the video I uploaded this morning. Recorded that video at 3 a.m. last night. The news that Mitoma, his injury is maybe a little bit worse than initially feared, broke this morning. So I was not able to re-record or anything before I uploaded that video this morning. So, yeah, so small correction from the video. You know, I hope you guys, you know, I know you guys understand that, particularly with injury news and football world, things move so fast. It's really tough to stay ahead of it. So hopefully this kind of correction there has, you know, maybe compensated for that. But again, we'll see by the end of the week. And there's one more player that I think is big injury news, and that is going to be Erling Haaland. Now, this one has come from Fabrizio Romano himself. So, yeah, no doubts about the legitimacy of this one. I know a lot of you guys are worried about the Dorito of death on Erling Haaland. Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't need to be worried. You don't need to be worried. Understand that Erling Haaland's injury is not serious, and he will be fit for City versus Liverpool. Haaland will not risk to play versus Scotland after his problem, but he'll be regularly back for Man City. And this was a couple of days ago. No, actually, it was just yesterday. Yesterday morning, this was. So, yeah. In terms of Erling Haaland, there is not too much to be worried about here. I think, you know, it already seems like he's pretty much been cleared. So that yellow triangle you see next to Haaland's name in FPL, I think for this one, you can basically ignore it. Just pretend it doesn't exist, because he's fine. It seems like he's absolutely fine. You know, just, again, another precaution. I think that's what we're seeing a lot in this international break, particularly as, you know, teams in their international games. Obviously, there's a lot of qualification games going on at the moment. For a lot of teams, they've already guaranteed qualified, or you know, they've got no chance of qualifying. And at that point, for a lot of these players, if there is a tiny issue or a tiny doubt, just pull them from the squad. Pull them from the squad. It's not worth risking these players if you know, there's nothing to play for, essentially. You wouldn't expect, you know, if Erling Haaland, you know, had a slight injury like maybe a week ago, but Man City had already won the Premier League or something like that towards the end of the season, you wouldn't expect him to play in that game. Similar situation for Norway. So yeah, just not something to be worrying about. But Liverpool is going to be a big game. Man City are going to want to play their best players, and Erling Haaland is one of their best players, and I'm sure we can all agree with that one. So yes, guys, Haaland, don't worry about this one. Don't worry. It's going to be fine. It's absolutely fine. Andrew Barton in the chat says, just didn't want the Scottish booting him all over. Hey, maybe there's some sense in that one. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that one. So those are the three major injury stories I want to talk about. We can run through a couple more as well. We did cover them in this morning's video, so I don't want to go over these too much, unless there's any players in particular you want me to cover a little bit more extensively. If there is, let me know in the chat, and we will talk about them. We've covered, obviously, oh, hang on, let's just go on team selected by, so we can get an idea of who the popular players are, I guess. So we covered Haaland, covered Mitoma, covered Bowen. Estupinian, got no information about him right now. Edison, I have a little bit of doubt about. I do have a little bit of doubt about that one, to be honest. But look, we'll see. Maddison, we know, is out for a while. Onana, I think the latest report says he's probably going to be okay. Ben White is going to be okay, more than likely. Erdegaard, we don't have too much information about. But yeah, shout out in the chat, guys. If there's any particular players you want to talk about, then please do let me know. Oh, one player I should probably talk about, because I've seen in the chat a couple of people mention Nketiah. So Nketiah is an interesting one, because what we do actually have now is that Gabriel Jesus is presumably available now, because he's been training for Brazil. I'll try and find the tweet now. So Gabriel Jesus training. I did see this earlier. I wonder if I can find it again very quickly. There you go. Is that one? Yeah, sure. Gabriel back in full training, and yeah, there you go. Fabrizio Romano there as well. That was yesterday. Gabriel Jesus in full training for Brazil and ready to be part of Denis' squad for the upcoming game. So yeah, he's going to be back. So that's really bad news for Nketiah owners, and certainly, you know, Nketiah is no longer a player we'd really want to be buying. You know, even if Jesus isn't back straight away, you've still got Trossard there as well. But if he's available for Brazil, you have to assume that he's going to be available for Arsenal as well. So I think this is a significant piece of news that I didn't cover in the video earlier, but it really relates to Nketiah more than it relates to Jesus, if you like. So yeah, guys, big news there. If you are an Nketiah owner, I would be quite concerned, and maybe we can talk about some replacements in a little while. Animation says Robertson, Dan. Yeah, Robertson's still long-term injury, not expected to be back before you know, the end of December. Really, we should see Robertson back in January. So he's a long-term absentee. A doggy, yeah, I think there is reason to be optimistic about him. From what I have read, I think he is going to be available for this game week. If you still have him, I would be willing to keep him. Yeah, I wouldn't be worrying about a doggy too much right now. It looks like he's good to go. Jatin says, Isak, is he fit to play? Yes, good news on Isak. He is, you know, he's actually a player who's got a pretty, you know, this is what I'm saying. Like, Gabriel Jesus, hamstring injury, 50% chance of playing. He's literally in line to play for Brazil. This flag, this triangle needs to be removed, because people will just see this triangle and say, oh, Jesus must still be injured. He's literally not. He's literally fine. Isak is the same situation. So if I go to Newcastle and find Isak, he's got, again, groin injury, 50% chance of playing. Isak is absolutely fine. He's progressed really, really well, and he's going to be available to play this game week against, who will they play against? Chelsea. So, yeah, it's interesting how bad the FPL website is making things seem when actually they're not. I've seen so many people on Twitter, you know, in my, you know, comments on YouTube saying, oh my word, I've got so many flags. There's so many flagged players. There's so many players that the FPL website is saying they are injured. Well, actually, a lot of them aren't injured at all. They are absolutely fine. So yeah, the panic is really, really unjustified. It's really, really not justified. So Isak, absolutely fine. No problem. Lots of people talking about Nkunku. I would be waiting for press conferences. I don't think there's any new information about Nkunku yet. So let's go have a look. Nkunku injury. I've not seen anything on my travels around social media. I think he is going to be like almost back. I can imagine bench. So this is a bit of analysis, I guess. Yeah, I can't really see too much going on here, to be honest. Apparently he's been keeping busy, so he's in training. That's good. Yeah, I would imagine. I guess he's been in training for a little while, to be fair. But if I had to guess, Nkunku plays some part in the game against Newcastle. I think he is almost there. I don't think I would be quite ready to buy him in FPL. But I think it is super, super close for Nkunku. I think we're really close. I think actually he would have technically been able to play prior to the international break, but I think they chose to kind of hold him back just to be careful. You know, he's going to be a huge player for Chelsea. He's going to be back super, super soon. I think he will play a part in Game Week 13, but I'm not sure that he's going to start in that game. I can definitely see him getting some minutes off the bench at the end of the game, though, guys. I really, really can. Ferguson in the chat as well. Yeah, Ferguson covered him a little bit in earlier's video, but yeah, it's not looking too good. New injury for him. It's not looking good. Manuel Solomon, he's probably going to be another week or so. Bowen, we already spoke about, of course. Rashford and Haaland. It looks like Rashford should be okay. Haaland, I'm not feeling as convinced by at the moment. And another person mentioning Bowen. Yeah, Bowen, I'll throw this on screen again, guys, for you very quickly. For those of you guys joining a little bit later. But Bowen, yeah, I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be fine. But let's wait and see. We're gonna have a nice scan. We're gonna have a nice test to have proper results over the next day or two. So we'll get more certain news. But I'm feeling cautiously optimistic about Jarrod Bowen. There, I've said it. Okay, guys, there we go. So yeah, in particular, I think the main players who are actually going to be injured, so are probably going to be, it's pretty much just Mitoma right now. Obviously, Maddison, we already knew about him, but Maddison and Mitoma are players who are probably the biggest concerns right now. So is it, in fact, do we need to start looking at some midfield replacements? I think it potentially is. I think we need to be talking about some midfield potential replacements, and particularly if it does turn out that the worst case scenario is true with Bowen, which I don't think it will be, but if it is, then maybe we want to think about Bowen replacements as well. So let's have a look. So first of all, let's have a quick look at the points prediction. So let's go, we probably want to hold this midfielder for, I don't know, a few game weeks. Let's go to game week 17. We want to have a look at midfielders. Who has got the highest predicted points between Game Week 13 and 17 among midfielders? Of course, we're on Fantasy Football Hub's predicted points tool. I just like to use this just to give me a rough idea of the kind of players I should be looking at. If you guys want to check this out for yourself, you can do. There's a link in the description for you guys to check out Fantasy Football Hub and all of their wonderful tools. We've got a lot of the usual suspects here. Son, Salah, Saka. We've got Fernandes in here. We've got Brian and Mbeumo. Anthony Gordon does really well statistically. We've got Jarrod Bowen, who, you know what? Even if he isn't available, if he misses one game, I'd probably keep him anyway. But like, it definitely could be said that if Bowen is available, then he is going to be one of the top midfielders to go for. Martinelli is up here as well. Cole Palmer is pretty obvious as a cheap kind of replacement guy. Eberechi Eze, definitely interesting. We've got Ødegaard, Sterling, Rashford, Diaby, Decore, whose numbers are insane right now. Adingra, looking pretty good, right? Bernardo Silva, interesting. Wang Hee-chan, etc., etc. But certainly the players I'd be looking at the most. And I think if we're looking for Mitoma replacements in particular, I would be having a little cheeky look at Brian Mbeumo. I think he's the guy. I think Mbeumo's the guy to go for right now. We'll have a look at him in a little bit more detail. So let's have a look at his fixtures. So I'm going to go on the fixture ticker. We'll have a look at Brentford. So we've got Arsenal up next. At home. And a guy who can play on the counter-attack and is on penalties is, in a sense, fixture proof. We've got Luton after that, which is obviously, Luton at home is obviously a fantastic fixture. After that, we've got Brighton away. They've been struggling defensively. Sheffield United, we know they are a weak defence. And we've got Aston Villa at home. Aston Villa, when they play away from home in particular, concede a lot of goals. So after this Arsenal game, we've got 4 games in a row, which all look really, really good for FPL returns. There is goals in each of these games. The Arsenal game is, of course, a concern, but going in on him a week early, it's not the end of the world. If you need to buy a new midfielder anyway, what are your options? You either buy a midfielder for one game week and then make another transfer to get Mbeumo the following week, or you just go with Mbeumo this game week. I mean, seriously, guys, who are you going to be going for instead anyway? Like, what? Who at similar price? Like, Gordon, he plays against Chelsea. Palmer, he plays against Newcastle. We've got Diaby, he plays against Spurs. For one game week punts for midfielders around this price, there's not really anything there. The only player who's maybe there is Bowen when we get more information about him, like you could maybe, if you can afford to go Mitoma up to Bowen for a 1 week punt and then bring him back down to Mbumo, I guess that's an option. But for me personally, if you are looking for a Mitoma replacement, if you're looking for a Bowen replacement as well, I would just go straight in on Mbumo now. I wouldn't, I say this as a man wearing an Arsenal shirt right now. I would be happy to play him against Arsenal. I really would. If anyone's going to score, Brentford are a good team. I wouldn't be surprised to see Brentford score against Arsenal. And if they do, who's it going to be? Think about it right now, guys. Realistically, who's it going to be involved? It's going to be this guy. So it's super obvious to me that he is the best replacement. Really. There are other options to go differential, but if you want an objective opinion on who is the best replacement, it's Mbumo, and that's for the next 5 game weeks. Now, there are, of course, a couple of other players. There are some of them been mentioned in the chat. So we've got Palmer. Again, like him as a long-term pick as well. If you want to go the Palmer direction, I think that's fine. I would try and have both ideally, but if you want to go Palmer direction, I think that's okay as well. After this game week, it looks a bit better for Chelsea. So let's find Chelsea. Chelsea. So after this game week, they play Newcastle away. By the way, a great time to play Newcastle. I think I mentioned this before. I think it's a great time to play Newcastle if you are Cole Palmer, and he's already proven he can do it in the big games. After that, Brighton at home, Man United away, Everton away, Sheffield United at home, Wolves away. Good run of fixtures, really good run of fixtures. And if we extend this period, it gets better from there as well. So after Wolves away, you've got Crystal Palace at home, Luton away, Fulham at home, Liverpool away, Wolves at home, Crystal Palace away. This run for the next 9 game weeks, amazing. 9-10 game weeks, amazing. Amazing stuff for Palmer. So really a really solid long-term player to go for. So Palmer, definitely an option for us as well. And by the way, guys, I do want to show you something as well, because a lot of people have been calling Palmer a pen merchant. I want to show you that. I want to show you the facts. So let's go per 90 and have a look at Cole Palmer here. Cole Palmer has 0.27 expected assists per 90. That's actually very good. 2 key passes and 0.74 big chances created per 90. Really, really nice numbers there. Remember, this is for a 5.2 million guy. If we go to goal threat and look at his non-penalty XG, you're going to see it's actually not as bad as maybe you thought it was. If I can get this page to load, which I can. Non-penalty XG is 0.23, which means his non-penalty expected goal involvement is around 0.5. So he's expected to get a non-penalty goal involvement every other game. That's pretty good. Like, that's genuinely, rather good, isn't it, guys? I mean, for a 5.2 million midfielder to be predicted to get an attacking return every other game, you can't really ask for much better than that. And considering this is a player who is also on penalties, who is also going to have much better fixtures from here on, you would imagine that he's actually going to outperform that and actually get attacking returns in games more often than he doesn't. For 5.2 million, he's a great pick. He is an absolutely fantastic FPL pick, and I really, really do rate him a lot. Now, there's a couple of other differentials you could potentially go for. I like the idea of going for Kudus. If you can't quite get to a... You can't quite get to like a Bowen, or Bowen's injured for whatever reason. Maybe Kudus is going to be the solution to that. The other option is, maybe going for Eze. We kind of spoke about him briefly. Crystal Palace have good next couple of fixtures. Next 3 fixtures are Luton, West Ham and Bournemouth. So really, really like those 3 fixtures for an attacking player. So definitely would consider going for him as well. Really outside of that, no one really thrills me, I guess. And obviously, like, if you can, if you can afford to go for like one of the expensive midfielders, like a Son or a Salah, then obviously that's going to be interesting. Or a Saka, of course. But outside of that, we're looking really. I mean, I'm not even sure if I'm that interested in Gordon anymore, because Barnes is going to be back soon. Isak's already back, isn't he? So I wonder if Gordon might actually start to see himself rotated a little bit more. The fixtures aren't fantastic either. Like, Chelsea at home, not great. Man United at home, it's okay. Everton away, I think it's a bad fixture right now. Spurs away, that's going to be when, Udogi's going to be back. We can have a Romero back at that point as well. So that's not going to be so great. So over the next 4 game weeks, who am I preferring? Like Gordon or like an Eze or an Mbumo or a Bowen or, these kind of players, or even Palmer. All of the above. Over Gordon right now, to be honest. Like, if you already have Gordon, fine, but would I be buying him right now? Like, right this second? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So, yeah, not really too keen on that one, to be honest. So, yeah, there you go, guys. There's your midfielder replacements rounded up. A few people asked for defenders as well. There are a few defenders that you want to talk about. So yeah, defenders with highest predicted points. Obviously, we've got Trent and Trippier going to be at the top all the time. We've got Kyle Walker up here as well. Akanji is up here. Ben White, Gabriel. But Gabriel, interestingly, got higher predicted points than William Saliba. Yeah, well, I'm not even gonna bother trying to convince you guys that that's true. I believe it, but I'm not going to try and convince you necessarily. Giandre in the chat says, so Dan, am I right in saying you would go in this order? Bowen, Mbumo, Palmer, Kudus, Eze. This game week, I think I would swap Kudus and Eze around. My favourite out of the lot from this game week onwards would be Bowen. If you ask me again next week, that would switch around and it would go to Mbumo in the number 1 spot. But yes, Bowen, in terms of midfielders that I would want to buy right now, that are kind of cheap-ish, it would be Bowen, presuming he's fit. If not, Mbumo. Or if you can't afford Bowen, Mbumo. After that, Palmer. After that, Eze. After that, Kudus. I would say those are kind of my favourite guys for midfield right now, in that kind of price range, I guess. But yeah, maybe Saka needs to enter that conversation. I feel like he's in a slightly different price bracket, isn't he? But yeah, Saka certainly would go in that conversation as well. I would probably put him 3rd after Bowen and Mbumo. I would prioritise having Bowen and Mbumo in your team over Saka. Again, presuming they're all fit. Even Palmer, pound for pound, is probably better than Saka right now. Pound for pound, but that's a whole different discussion. Right, defenders is super tough right now, and I'm struggling so much. Like, I've already got some pelters on a video this week for the defenders that I suggested. I will try and do it again. But yeah, I don't know. Like, going for a Gabriel or a Saliba seems pretty sensible to me. An Arsenal defender in general is going to be a good pick. So pick up an Arsenal defender if you haven't got one already. I think if you haven't got one, it's a pretty straightforward choice to do that. After that, it really is anyone's game. Like, you're not going to buy Tsimikas this week because he plays against City. If you're going for a Manchester United defender, you're probably worried about Dalot and Wan-Bissaka getting rotated. Do you go for Harry Maguire? Harry Maguire for 4.3 million? Kind of like him, to be fair. So Maguire is definitely going to be an option for you as well. Do you go for a Crystal Palace defender at this junction? Possibly not. Would you go for an Everton defender at this junction? Maybe, but not definitely. So a lot of people are looking to sell Matty Cash, for example. Like, outside of injuries, genuinely, who are we buying? Like, yes, we can say that we've not been too impressed by Matty Cash, and that would be a completely fair comment. But is there really that much out there that is seriously better? I don't think there is. I really don't think there is. I think people will react to the previous game week. They'll say, oh, Tsimikas scored a load of points last game week. He must be the guy to replace Cash with. But if you look for consistency in Tsimikas, you really haven't found it so far. And you're not going to find it in this game week when he plays against Man City either. Maguire is a decent pick, but is he someone who fills us with confidence? Probably not. Other options like Everton defenders. Everton have some tricky fixtures. Man United, Forest, then Newcastle, and then Chelsea. So some tough fixtures around there. They obviously play Spurs and City in game week 18 and 19 as well. So Everton defenders, not really defenders you can rely on to play every single game week. So really, who are you replacing Cash with? Is there anyone outside of, and it really is, Saliba and Gabriel? Outside of those players, is there anyone who is a significant improvement from cash. Is it worthwhile making a transfer? Are you just making a transfer to avoid price changes or to catch up with price changes? Maybe you are, because I'm not convinced by anyone. And with Matty Cash, what we do know is that against Spurs, we've seen from Cash, away from home, actually done much better away from home than he has done at home. We see him much more advanced in the away games. And if he's going to be playing it on the counter-attack against Spurs, then that could work really, really well. Matty Cash there, he could get attacking returns. I don't think he'll get a clean sheet, but I think Cash has got a really good chance of attacking returns. Like, if we go to the numbers, guys, if you're looking for defenders who are most likely to score this season, we'll go per 90 high low minute players and just go for, let's just go XG to start ourselves off. Matty Cash is at the top of the pile. He's got the most XG per 90 of any defender in the Premier League who has played any significant minutes. The players close to him are Ake, Dunk, Bogle, Bolly, Mikolenko is in there, to be fair, Nori, Pinnock, Ahmedovic, I always struggle with that name, Ajer. I know he's not been getting FPL returns, but the numbers are there. And that's better than nothing. And with other players, you are pretty much just going on hunches. It's super tough. It's really, really super tough to pick defenders right now. So for that reason, I'm personally, and I am a Matty Cash owner. And I'll show you if you don't believe me. I am a Matty Cash owner. I don't think I'm going to sell him. I don't really see that there's significantly better players in that I can move him to. Like, the fixture after that is Bournemouth away as well. Do I want to keep him from that? Yeah, possibly I do. Then maybe game week 15, I can think about removing him when he plays against City and Arsenal back to back. But I don't think I need to sell Cash. I'd be more happy to just play. If I really hated Cash, I'd be more likely to play Kabore than make a transfer, I think. I don't think he's a must sell at all. But if you're chasing price changes and team value is more important to you than anything else, then fair enough, crack on. But whatever. Tom O'Connell says, the player you don't have always seems better. Not usually the case. Tom, you're absolutely spot on, mate. It's a classic example of the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. And I think that's what a lot of people are going to suffer from. Right, one more position we'll have a quick look at. It's going to be cheap forwards, because this is another one that I know we're all struggling with. So we'll struggle together, guys. Don't you worry about that. Let's go forwards under 7.5 million. Or should we go? No. All right. We'll go forwards under Erling Haaland, basically. So in terms of highest predicted points, we've seen Darwin and Watkins at the top. No real surprise there. Nicholas Jackson is going to have high predicted points until the AI can figure out what's going on with him and Nkunku, I guess. The same with Callum Wilson and his injury, because it hasn't been updated on the FPL website. The algorithms only have so much data to go on. And we have got Wissa here, who is definitely interesting. Julian Alvarez, you expect to see him. But really, if we're looking for the cheaper guys, so let's go 6.7 or less. There is some options. Wissa, after Arsenal, the fixtures look good for him. My only issue with Wissa as a pick is that if you want Mbeumo as well, what you're going to have is Wissa and Mbeumo and most likely Erling Haaland all blank in game week 18. Is that too much of an investment? If you have too many Brentford and Man City players ahead of game week 18, do you really want to be forced into using your free hit? I don't think it's going to be the best opportunity for a free hit this season. So, but I mean, maybe. I mean, you could purposely strategize, so you pick loads of Man City and Brentford players, and then use your free hit in game week 18. That is an option, of course. But if you're not going to play a free hit in game week 18 or don't want to use it in 18, then I would say don't go for too many Brentford players right now. Another reason why Brentford defenders aren't really at the top of my wish list right now. So I think that is the one problem with Wissa. I would prefer to have Mbeumo, and I wouldn't want to have them both, if that makes sense. Awani is definitely interesting. Good fixtures coming up for him, particularly Brighton, an injury-stricken Brighton. it's interesting if nothing else. We've got Solanke, who plays against Sheffield United, which is nice. Edouard plays against Luton. You know, we've got some options here. But none of these players are players that, you know, necessarily fill us with confidence, I would say. We have got Nketiah down the bottom here. I would be looking to sell him. Same with Evan Ferguson. We'll probably be looking to sell him as well. Not feeling too optimistic. Cameron Archer, a few people have said about starting him this week. 3.4 predicted points. Yeah, even against Bournemouth, I'm not massively convinced by Cameron Archer. Expect a 2-pointer, if I'm totally honest, guys. So yeah, like if you really want to go for a cheap forward, I guess it leaves us with Awani, Solanke, and Edouard. Really struggling outside of that. Really struggling. Like if you can go up to like an Isak, I would maybe think about going for Isak instead. I really kind of like Isak as a differential. He is one that does stand out to me. Because if we look at like the numbers of the forwards like this season, you are going to see, again, if we go per 90, let's just go expected points, I guess. Or should we go expected points or expected non-penalty expected goals? Let's go non-penalty expected goals. I think that's a good measure of a striker. I was going to say you should see Isak fairly high, but I can't see him. Is it because he's a low minutes player? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So, actually, if we look at non-penalty expected goals, of all of the regular starting players, Isak tops the list. So you exclude David, Duran, and Obafemi because none of these players are ever going to be regular starters for their teams, realistically. Isak tops the list. He's got better non-penalty XG than Erling Haaland. Just. Granted, it's close. But it is still very, very significant. He's putting up some insane numbers whenever he's been playing. So I really, really do rate him. Really, really rate Isak as a pick. It's just going to be a case of whether you guys are willing to take that risk, going a bit differential. Do you want to wait before or after the Chelsea game to do that move? But I like it. Honestly, I like it. I don't think I'd swap Watkins or Darwin for an Isak, but I don't know. I like it. Yeah. Big Tip says, yeah, with Wilson out, he's got great potential for high impact differential. Absolutely, man. Wilson could be out for 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks of Isak. That's quite nice, isn't it? For a regularly starting Isak for 6 to 8 weeks. He could do some serious damage during that time. He could become like almost an essential player. But I don't think at this point I'd quite be willing to sacrifice Watkins or Darwin. I mean, maybe Darwin, but probably not. I guess Julian Alvarez, particularly as you're going to have to remove him before game week 18 anyway because of that blank game week. I think I would consider selling Julian Alvarez to Isak as a differential. I think that would excite me a lot as an FPL manager as well to make a move like that. But yeah, I'm not huge on any of the cheap forwards. Like, some of them are okay. They are differential. They're a little bit fun. They're a little bit spiced, but that's about as far as it goes. If you can get up to an Alexander Isak, I would really, really strongly consider doing that. Right, guys, what we're going to do to finish off the stream, we're going to do a quick poll. We're going to do a captain poll to see where you guys are at in your minds. We're going to do a quick Q&A, short questions only, please, and we'll have a look at the price changes, and we'll finish off by having a look at fan prints, because I'm just super excited to share fan prints with you guys and see what you guys think. So let's, before we go any further, set up a poll for captaincy. Whilst I'm doing that, guys, feel free to lob some questions in the chat, and we'll try and answer some of those miscellaneous questions. But yeah, just writing a poll now. Who is the best captain for game week 13? And your options are going to be Haaland, Salah. Should we put Bowen and Son in there? I guess. We'll also put if fit. I know Haaland's fit, but if Bowen if fit. I know some of you guys will inevitably say someone else is the best captain, but I think these are the big four this week. I think these are the big four. So, yes, guys, make sure you are leaving a little vote in that poll just to see where the community mind is at, you know. Anyway, a couple of questions in the chat. Is Adingra a valid pick? I think he is fine. He's fine, but realistically, I would prefer to go for Cole Palmer. I'd rather go for Cole Palmer, and they're a similar price bracket. So if going for Adingra means you're not going to get Palmer, then I wouldn't go for Adingra. So yeah, straight up, it's pretty simple. If you really can't afford Palmer for whatever reason, then Adingra is okay, but realistically, it's going to get you 2 points most game weeks. So don't expect too much from him. Whereas Palmer is genuinely exciting, and I think he can compete with the 6.5, 7 million players. I don't think Adingra is going to be able to do that long term. You know, he's very, very early into his career, of course. Wrestle Rumble of the World says, when do you plan on playing your free hit? I want to get a good idea of when the double game weeks are going to be and when the blank game weeks are going to be in the second half of the season. That's going to be all down to the FA Cup and the League Cup results. And for the next month or two, we're probably going to have limited information about that one. So the chip plans will start to develop. And they will, they'll come in combination. I'll try and combine my chips to kind of do something crazy and, really make the most of it. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for double and blank game week information before I even really think about it too much. The first opportunity for a free hit is game week 18, and that's if you are you're overcompensating, trying to go for loads of City and Brentford players, then you can play your free hit in game week 18. And then after game week 18, shortly after, maybe around game week 20, we are probably going to see a double game week for Brentford and Man City. It'll be one of the first, the second double game week of the season, probably the biggest double game week of the season so far, even though it's still super, super small. But still, you'll have Man City and Brentford players ready in your team to capitalise on that double game week. So that is a strategy that's viable, but I don't think it's going to be the optimal strategy, if you like. Jay Wall says, thoughts on our knee? He's an interesting differential, nothing else. Pietrix says, is Mitoma a sell? I think at this point he probably is going to end up being a sell, but I'm not going to commit to anything this early. As always, I recommend trying to wait for as long as possible before making those FPL decisions, because we've got a lot of injury news still to come before the end of the weeks. Sacroplayer says, should you use 2 transfers if you have 2 mediocre players on your team? I don't know. It depends who the mediocre players are. But yeah, if there's 2 great players that you can replace the mediocre players with, then I'll definitely consider replacing at least one of them. Let's have a look. Adingra to Palmer. I don't know if I'd make that move necessarily. Maybe wait one more game week before doing that one. He channel Palmer. Yeah, my answer is Palmer. What do you think about Sofal? The West Ham's defence is so bad, you're never going to get clean sheets from him. His attacking numbers are actually not that good. They do suggest he's been a little bit fortunate so far. So, yeah, I think Sofal is okay, but as with most defenders in FPL right now, no one is filling me with confidence. Proxy Gaming says, keep Hwang or sell? I mean, you can keep him if you want. There's no one really, other than Palmer, there's no one I'd necessarily sell him for around that kind of price. Maybe on Bumo, but again, these moves can actually wait until game week 14. Jandro says Gabriel or Saliba. I'm team Gabriel. Let's see how that goes. Bowen or Trippier? At this point, I'm leaning Bowen, but assume he is fit. Diaby to Saka. No, I don't think I would do that this game week. I think Diaby could do really well against Spurs. I genuinely really like this Aston Villa versus Spurs game. I think there could be goals in this one. Cash out, not for me. No one really convincing me in terms of players to replace him with. And with that said, I think we'll leave it there for questions. Unless there's any more. If there's any more interesting questions to pop up in the chat, I'll have a sneaky wee little look. But we do want to have a look at some price changes whilst we're waiting for a couple more questions to come in. So, right, let's have a look. Let's order this by progress. Let's go most likely players to rise this week, first and foremost. So, Darwin and Porro set to increase in price tonight. Baldock maybe goes to 3.9 in the next couple of days. Other players in danger of going up in price this week are Calvert-Lewin, McTominay, Semenyo, Branthwaite, Gahey. I don't know about some of these, to be honest. Honestly, it doesn't. It looks like we're actually not in that much danger Who's like going up like the fastest? And Bumo is going to go up at some point in the next couple of days. He's at 65% towards a price rise. So he's going to go up at some point or another. Probably it could happen before the game week 13 deadline. It could happen. I don't know if there's any major panic there. Cole Palmer, I wouldn't be surprised to see go up this by the end of the game. We could potentially see Saka go up at some point as well. But yeah, in general, right now, it doesn't look like there's any major price increases that are going to happen right now. The only one that's going to happen right now are going to be like Darwin and Porro. Would I realistically be buying Darwin ahead of Man City, where he might not even play because South American tax for this Liverpool team? I would not be buying Darwin right now, no. But if you own him already, might get a cheeky price rise from him. Pedro Porro also looking likely to go up in price. Gareth says, what website is this? This is all. This is one of the many, many tools on Fantasy Football Hub, guys. One of the many, many tools on Fantasy Football Hub. Are you starting to understand why I love this website so much? It has everything. It has everything you could possibly need. But yeah, Watkins has got pretty high progress there as well. 95%. So we could see Watkins go up to 8.5. That could happen, I guess. I don't know. It seems like a lot of people are selling Watkins this week, though, but maybe we'll see a price rise for him. Not sure. But yeah, it seems like the main players rising in price. Darwin and Porro seems imminent. Probably seeing Bumo and Palmer go up at some point this week. Just one to keep an eye on, right? All right, in terms of players dropping in price, Gusto, Cash, and Colwill going down tonight. Which is what it is. I know people will be looking to sell Cash. But like before you sell Cash though, guys, another thing to check out is what price did you buy him for? Can I see my purchase price on here? I can't remember how to see my purchase price on this website. Most annoying thing about this website. I think you can do it on the app, but not on the website, which is super, super annoying. Maybe it's on the transfers page. Okay, so my purchase price, for example, for Cash was 4.7. So if he drops to 5.1, then my selling price does not change. It remains at 4.9. So check this out for yourself, guys. So yeah, I found it. So you go on the transfers page, you go on list view, and you look at your purchase price and compare it to their current price. Obviously, you can only make 50% or less profit on a player. If you bought him at 4.7, it doesn't matter if he drops to 5.1, you're still going to sell him for 4.9. If you bought him at 4.9, it doesn't matter if he drops to 5.1, you're still going to be selling him for 5. So check that out and remind yourself what you bought Cash for before you commit to making a panic sell this game, because you might actually not lose or gain any team value by selling him now. If you bought it for 6.6, then maybe you're in a bit of trouble here. Maybe you're in a little bit of trouble. But when I say trouble, I mean losing 0.1 value. I don't know. I still feel like I would wait. Either wait or go for Mbumo. Wait or go for Mbumo with Mitoma. But you've got 1 day at least, even in the worst case scenario, before that price change. Anything else? Ben White's going to go down in price, apparently. One of the most sold players. Don't sell Ben White, guys. Please. He's going to be fine. He's going to be absolutely fine. I'm not worried about Ben White at all. And there you go. Various other players that could go up in price soon, potentially. But honestly, not a huge amount of movement right this second, which is good because there's so much information still to come. There we go. Right, quick look at the captain poll. We have got final results. Thank you, everyone, for voting, by the way. Final results. Haaland, 45% of you guys are going to be captaining him. Bowen, if he's fit, 25%. Salah, 19%, which is quite significant, despite a tough fixture for him. And we've got Son down at 9%. So there's a few people, actually, thinking about captaining Son. Which is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. So, to finish off this stream, I want to talk about fan prints. I appreciate you guys hearing me out on this one. But, I mentioned it earlier on in the stream, me and Richard over Tino, who I'm not sure if he's in the chat anymore or not, but, Yes, we've been working super hard. Like especially Richard. Like, this guy is super talented, by the way. A crazy good designer. And yeah, we've been working on putting Fan Prints together, which is a website that sells fantasy football and football related products with a particular emphasis on catering to fantasy football fans, because there doesn't seem to be enough out there in terms of, things to put on your wall, posters, prints, mugs and stuff. There doesn't seem to be enough out there for fantasy football fans. Like, it's to a point where people want to win a fantasy football mug from official FPL by winning their monthly highest score or whatever like that. People desperately want to win a fantasy football mug because how do you get fantasy football merch? It's impossible. So we said, okay, we'll sit down and we'll make things that you guys are going to like. We're going to do some stuff that we would want. What would we want up on our walls? What would we want to have in our house? How would we want to display and be proud of being fantasy football fans? Because we are all fantasy football nerds here, right? All of us. I hope. I am. So yes, guys. So I'm going to show you the website in a minute. We are doing a giveaway on both Twitter and Instagram where you can win yourself a print for free. This is nice. This is very nice stuff. So if you want to have a chance of winning a free one, we'll send it out to you wherever you are in the world. So that was something that was really important to us to make sure that we could ship everywhere in the world. And head over to my Twitter or my Instagram accounts at FPL Mate on both of those. And you will be able to see the most recent post on each of those will be the giveaway tweet/Instagram post. All you've got to do is like, retweet and follow, and you're in for a chance of winning. There's not actually that many people who have entered at this particular moment in time. So actually, your chances of winning are pretty good. And look, the posters are really good. They're going to be really high quality posters. Museum quality is the official word on the paper that we've gone for. So it's going to be something that's really nice to have in your home. Jandre also said, has put a super chat in here for us, says, can we get to 200,000 subscribers by Christmas? Probably not. It's slowed down in terms of the subscribers, but we'll aim to get 200,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Let's see if we can do it by the end of the season. I think that's more realistic, but it's still going to be really tough. But thank you, Jandre. I am hoping that we can get close to that, without a doubt. So, yeah, guys, if you want to have a chance of winning one of these posters, and there is more than just posters, but you want to win a poster, get retweeting. Go on these channels. Try on both. Double your chance of winning something. We're doing one on each, so there's going to be 2 winners. So yeah, would really appreciate you guys. Even if you don't really want the product, just like by retweeting these tweets on these accounts is massively helpful to supporting FPL Mate. It's gonna, this is probably gonna be the best way you can support the channel is by purchasing these products, to be honest. And they're products that we're really proud of. We're really happy with them, and we're really happy with the website as well. So that is what I'm going to show you next. So this is the website. It works really well on mobile as well. We've got a promo code so you can get 20% off with code launch23, all one word. So you can get 20% off all of these products, which is really nice. So first of all, this is the website. Let's just do a quick scroll through. You can see everything on there. I mean, guys can probably imagine this took ages to put together, but it gets better. So first of all, let's have a look at this one. So we've got like our fantasy football products. So here you can buy a poster with the robot on, and what it has is like his scores from last week. So it kind of displays all about why Erling Haaland was so amazing last season. So really kind of captures that. We've got the Salah looking kind of poster, the Egyptian King, the GOAT of fantasy football, showing all of his scores in the history of his fantasy season. So again, real nice dedication to the Egyptian King and the fantasy scores that we've kind of seen from him, and yeah, etc. With various different players on there. We've got the fantasy football captain mug, which I can't wait for mine to arrive. Really, this is just like perfect, isn't it? Like particularly for a gift. You guys do like Christmas presents or Secret Santa presents for a fantasy football fan. That's gonna be like perfect. And I think I'm gonna have this fantasy football captain mug as like a mini league prize as well. I'm going to try and give some of these away to you guys. I think that's going to be a really nice giveaway item. So we're going to give away some of these But, you know, if you can't wait for a giveaway item, go and have a look. Maybe think about buying one. This one I absolutely love. Really, really, really love this one. So this is a poster that is dedicated to the worst game week ever. So it's got all of the famous tragedies of Game Week 11. We saw a lot of tragedies in Game Week 11. We saw the likes of Doggy and Romero getting sent off. We saw Haaland getting subbed at halftime as a captain, 1 pointed there. It was a crazy, crazy disaster of a game week, wasn't it, guys? And how better to look back and laugh and remember this game week than with a poster. So love this. I really, really love this, and I hope you guys love it too. This, I think, is possibly going to be really, really nice. So what we have here is personalized posters, and I think these are going to be good for like mini league prizes, but also like these are just awesome. So what you do, this is what you do. You pick your favorite shirt, and by the way, guys, there's a seemingly endless amount of shirts. We even got goalkeeper shirts on here, for heaven's sake. Look at all of these shirts, all different styles of all kinds of teams. You pick your favorite shirt that you like. I'm going to pick this one. You can probably see why I'm picking this one. Then we're going to go personalized design on here. I'm going to go, I don't know. What's my favorite number? Let's just go like, you can go as high numbers as you like. So should we go 243 for the famous rank of 243? I want FPL Mate on there on the back of the shirt, and I want at the bottom of the shirt. We have got a little, you can see kind of what it looks like here. And at the bottom of the shirt, I mean, maybe the 243 is a little bit big on there. Maybe we don't go for that. Well, let's just go for number 1. FPL Mate number 1. Or number, I don't know, 23. That's the year, right? Or 24. Let's go 24. Then you can put your text at the bottom there as well. So we're going to put, let's put your best mate. Boom. It's done it all for you. It's there. You've got your preview. You know what you're going to get. And you've got yourself your own poster that is dedicated just for you. It's unlike any others. Your shirt selection, your name on the back, your number, and your slogan at the bottom as well. Amazing. Love these. Absolutely love these. And of course, you can get them for a really, really decent price as well. If you use the 20% discount code, they're really, really good prices, really competitive. We've got some others as well. So just to run through these. So we've got like the XG poster or the XG mug. We've got football terminology. We've got Pep Roulette poster on there. I think there's like 60 plus products on here pre-launch. Like the launch product collection, there's like 65 products on there, something like that. It's a crazy amount. There really is so many. We really have gone to town to try and like make sure there's something for everyone. So you just can browse around. Goat collection. So we've got kind of, Goat 10 or Goat 7, depending on who your goat is for you there. Mugs and more. Obviously, we spoke about the mugs already, but notepads as well. Fantasy football notepads. Perfect for making your little notes there as well. So that is Fanprints, guys. Fanprints.uk is the name of the website. Link in the description. Link everywhere. I'm just going to spam the link everywhere pretty much. Check it out. See if there's anything you like. And if there is anything you like, all the purchases you make massively help support FPL Mate, the channel over here. So, yeah, really, really do appreciate that. And if you want to win something for free, don't forget to check out the competition being run on Instagram and on Twitter, where you can win yourself a free print. If you like the look of what you saw just now, you want one of them for free, give yourself a go. Like I said, not too many people have entered so far. Obviously, we're very small pages. I don't think there's many followers on, I think there's like 30, 35, 40 followers on our social media accounts. We only launched this literally today. So, yeah, you've got a really good chance of winning if you go in on this nice and early first ever competition. And yeah, I hope one of you guys win it. Good luck to all of you. And thank you so much for everyone who is supporting FanPrints, because this is, as you can probably tell, a lot of work has gone into this. This is a real passion project. And yeah, hopefully a way of allowing us to keep things free on YouTube, because that is something that's really important. I don't want to take gambling ads. I don't want to charge you guys to watch Patreon content or members only content. I don't really want to do that. So yeah, hopefully this is a way of trying to keep FPL Mate continue running, and more importantly, keep it running for free and without having to compromise on the kind of things that we advertise on here, and not advertising anything that we don't feel passionate about. So there we go, guys. Gonna stop the sales pitch now. That's it. Check out FanPrints. Would really appreciate it. But guys, we are gonna leave the stream there. Do appreciate you guys who stuck around to the end of the stream to hear me out on fanprints.uk. Really do appreciate all of you guys' support on videos recently. Make sure before you disappear, you do drop a like. It is massively appreciated. Leave a comment. I'll try and answer some of them as well. I'm sure you guys have got more questions about various bits and bobs we spoke about today. So feel free to leave a comment. Do subscribe if you're new around here. Check out the other videos. Like I said, we've got I think it's 4 videos for Gameweek 13 already uploaded on the FPL Mate channel. We do not sleep in FPL Mate industries. But guys, aside from that, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching once again. And I'll see you later, mates. Bye-bye.